All right, first initial impressions. I am totally digging this curved front baffle. And I know there's some acoustic reasons there. They're time aligning the speakers, but just aesthetically, man, I like that. And I definitely like how this is separated right here. Gives it some really nice definition, gives it some style. Okay, Arendal, y'all have done a sweet job on the design. Now this is a little different. This, honestly, it reminds me a lot of Perlisten, how they have that little curvature right there. New design woofers. You can see the ridges there. Completely new redesigned speaker. But I like it. All right, guys, we are in the middle of a hurricane. And look what just arrived. Oh yeah, they got a little bit of wet in the shipping. So hopefully there's no damage in there, but about to get these unboxed. We do not have power in the house, but still got to get these inside so I can get my car back in the garage. All right, here we go. All right, guys, we are in the middle of a hurricane. I'm heading to the garage to get the second one. These things are a beast. They are 175-ish pounds. See you in just a second. Woo! Yep, these are heavy. The wind just about flipped this over. Holy cow. The wind literally almost blew this over. Oh! Oh man, it's like a sail. All right, I think we're safe. All right. Now these are actually too heavy for me to just pull them up. I tried that earlier. It isn't going to work. Just gotta lay them down. Pull the cart out. And we can lay them down. Do this with some help. But during a hurricane, I don't have any help, so it's just me. Brute force, baby. Wah! Perfect. And just like that, we got them in. Now let's get them unboxed after we do a little resting. Woo! Holy cow. All right, so we finally got power back on in the house after the storm. So here we can see, this thing is a huge box, man. Holy cow. All right, let's get this unboxed. We'll show you what it looks like inside. Here in the front, in my living room, I've got the 1723, so I'm curious to see how the 1528 Tower 8s compare in size, looks, as well as sound. So this video mainly would be an unboxing. I'll give you all the specs that I know on the speakers so far that we've been provided, and then just an initial impressions. This won't be a review. I want to spend some time, and we only have a couple of days before the launch, which is October 1st, which is when you'll be seeing this video. So let me get the knife. We'll get this unboxed. Let's see what's inside. All right, so honestly, I'm not sure what the best way to unbox these. We've got these little pinch things. So I know I'm gonna have some on the bottom, so I'm probably gonna have to lay these down to be able to remove the other ones down there. So at least for now, I'll lay it down. Man, these jokers are heavy. All right, here we go. So down here, we've got these little pinch tabs. A lot of TVs are using this format. So you just pinch them, and you can remove them. Got our white gloves. We'll definitely use those. All right, first let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging. So we've got the Puck Plus kit. So that'll be basically the feet. Looks like we have the driver's grills here. Take a look at those a second, and then just massive, massive amounts of padding. All right, since nobody has unboxed these yet, really don't have any instructions on what the best way. All right, check out those little grill covers right there. We'll get those added on later. So we got 2 of those. Let's take a look at this Puck Plus kit. Try saying that 3 times. So these are going to be our feet. All right, let's take a look at this first foot here. Okay, nice. So we got a little padding up here, protect the bottom of the speaker. Then we'll have these little pucks right here, and here are the little pucks. So just a large rubber piece, very large thread. They go on just like that. So inside here we've got all of our screws. Looks like we'll be bolting 4 bolts through the bottom and securing those to the bottom of speakers. So we'll go ahead and lay all this off to the side for now and come back to it after we get the speakers out. So we got 2 more driver covers in here. So there's one, got another one in there as well. All right, so I'm trying to figure out what the best plan of attack to get these out. Typically I would stand them up on end, which I think I'm going to do now that I can kind of see what we've got going on in here. Man, those feel cool. All right, I think I got a pretty good plan. Seems like this whole piece comes off. Yeah, see, like that. So these are just in pieces here. Just like that. Good thing I'm documenting this because I need to replicate this. I'm gonna make sure I show all of the cushions here, all the padding. All right, that's good there. This can come off. That's going to, look at there. So they made it, they thought this really, really well. I like how they've done this. So they've cut this, so that way you can actually remove it. Good thinking, Arendal, good thinking. All right, does this come off? It does, look at there. So definitely a different way of packaging. So I'm gonna go ahead and untie this at the bottom. Got this nice cloth cover here. Arendal does that with pretty much all of their speakers, monitors. Ooh. Okay, I was hoping to get the white ones, but honestly, this is like a gray cobalt. I wasn't expecting it. So I guess in my brain I was thinking they were going to be black. Okay. Well, there's a big old port down here too. Let me get the camera again to show you. All right, so we take a look at the bottom. You can see this massive port. Holy cow. See, it's larger than my hand. Really thick port. Woo, that's a big one. But look at that, guys. I like what I'm seeing. Man, that looks pretty. Pretty. All right, let's get the rest of it unboxed. All right, now let's go ahead and lift this up. All right, just like that. All right, this is gonna be a pain to rebox. So hopefully this video will help me. All right, so down here, oh, look at there. Even included some furniture sliders. Got a couple of different styles. So that's gonna be the ones for carpet. I'm assuming that one is for if you got hardwood floor. So we should have, there's 4 of those. And we got 4 of these. Man, they've thought of everything. They know these jokers are heavy. Guys, these things are huge. Holy cow. All right, now because you have the binding post back here, you definitely don't want to lay this down on its back side. So just be careful of that. All right, now for the moment of truth. Let's check it out. All All right, first initial impressions. I am totally digging this curved front baffle. And I know there's some acoustic reasons there. They're time aligning the speakers, but just aesthetically, man, I like that. And I definitely like how this is separated right here. Gives it some really nice definition, gives it some style. Okay, Arendal, y'all have done a sweet job on the design. Now this is a little different. This, honestly, it reminds me a lot of Perlison, how they have that little curvature right there. All right, here is a first close-up look of the new Arendal Tower 8s. I'll be honest, guys, I'm really liking what I'm seeing. These are cool, man. Look at their massive curvature there. Pretty slick speaker. I love this. I think they're calling it Cobalt. I'll put it up here on the screen, what it's actually called. But man, no, maybe it's Baltic. That is very cool. New design woofers. You can see the ridges there. Completely new redesigned speaker. But I like it. All right, so now we're gonna place the feet on just like this. These have a little washer. Get that lined up. Just like that. These did not come with an Allen wrench. So because it's a pre-production unit, they may or may not have that, but just get your standard Allen wrench, tighten them all down. Arendal has included some really nice thick metal grills. If you try to put them on, you're gonna notice that they may not stick. And the reason is the magnets are in different positions here. And so what I found is if you will line up where it says Arendal and designed by Norway, like that, they'll snap right into place. If you get them turned a little sideways like this, you'll notice they don't stick because the magnets aren't there. So the magnets have to be a certain position for them to lock into place. All right, looking at the rear of the unit, I really like this back plate. We've got dual binding posts here with these nice thick jumpers. So if you're not going to buy wire or buy amp, you're going to leave these jumpers in place and you're just going to connect your regular speaker wire to this positive and negative up here. If you wanted to buy wire or buy amp, you would just simply remove both of these jumpers. Remove this one and remove that one, and then you'll connect this top part right here, this positive and negative. That is for your mid-range and your high frequencies. And then you'll connect your other amplifier down here. That would power your low, which is your 4 woofers. In my setup, I'm going to connect it just normal. So we're gonna put that right back on there and tighten it down. Now, another really cool feature of the Tower 8s, as well as the monitors and the bookshelves, is we've got these additional jumpers right here on the bottom. In the default position, you can see it says REF for reference. If you leave these jumpers in place, right here it says reference, over here it says reference. This is for your mid-range speakers, and this is for your high frequencies. Just think of that as a flat frequency response. If you want, for whatever reason, to reduce the high frequencies, maybe it's a little too bright, what you would do is you would remove this and then angle it over here to the low. This reduces the high frequencies by 2 decibels. If you want a little bit more top end, you could remove this, angle it over to the right side where it says high, and now you have boosted the high frequencies by 2 decibels. You can do the same thing with the mid-range. You could lower the mid-range by 2 decibels, or you could increase the mid-range by 2 decibels. So you can do any combination that you want just by adjusting these 2 jumpers. Now, since this is a pre-production unit, they did advise me that they're working on making some changes to it. So it is disabled in this pre-production. So I'm just gonna put these right back to the reference. Now this just gives you incredible flexibility to be able to customize the sound to your liking as well as to your room. All right, so I've had the Tower 8s in for about 3 days now and had an opportunity to hear them in my living room setup with the Denon 4800H connected to a pair of monoblock amplifiers from Outlaw Audio, the 2200s. And so my initial impressions, this is not a review, but my initial impressions is these things are pretty stinking spectacular. Number one, they just look gorgeous. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the speaker grills because I like to see the speakers in their bare necessities, if you know what I mean. So I love just being able to see those drivers. So I prefer to leave those off. But when my grandson comes over, it's nice to have those steel grills so that I know that he's not going to damage those drivers. So those are super cool. But I love the style. I love the aesthetics. I really like what Arendal has done to make these not just your typical box speakers, traditional, rectangular shape. They've got this beautiful contour on the front. Just the craftsmanship that they put into these speakers, from the finish to the design, even the back is just really, really high-end quality. And I love the fact that they're not using your typical MDF. They're using HDF. So that is a really, really dense, very, very heavy, very thick, and very sturdy material. And the reason for that is because they don't want the cabinet vibrating. The less vibrations that you have in a cabinet, the better it has a chance of performing well, and you don't get those internal resonances inside the cabinet. So one of the first things that I noticed when I fired these up, I haven't spent a ton of time playing with toe in. This was just kind of casual listening, just giving them some time to break in. I'm not a huge proponent of break in, but I want to make sure that they're broken in. So we just had them playing in the background, and every once in a while I'd come over to the couch and just sit down and listen to a few songs. And I would just begin to grin from ear to ear. I love it when a speaker just wraps around my head. It almost gives almost a 3D dimension of this spatial awareness. And so I like that. Not every speaker can do that. A lot of times I'll get speakers in and it just sounds like it's coming straight from the speaker. And so I hear the instruments that are playing from the from the right speaker, and I hear the instruments coming from the left speaker, and it's just that they're very directional. But what I really like is when a speaker just has this really enveloping sound. That's super, super cool to me, and the 1528s definitely do that. Another thing that I like about them is just the forward mid-range. I'm not an audiophile. It's hard for me to describe exactly what I'm hearing, but I don't like a very laid back sound. I like a sound that's kind of more up front. One that is very pronounced in that mid-range. I don't want to be kind of struggling to hear the mid-range. I want it to be really clear, and the 1528s deliver that. Now, I remember putting on In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins, and of course, I was ready for that drum solo, and there's no subwoofer playing, and I couldn't help resist. I just cranked it up quite a bit. And man, when it came in, boom, dude, I was bouncing. It was really, really fun. And so I am enjoying what I'm hearing so far. I can't wait to add even more power to them. And I even want to take them into my dedicated theater room where I've got acoustically treated room. I'm curious to see even how much better they're going to perform in that type of environment. The only downside to the theater room is I don't have a lot of space in front of me. So that's going to put those speakers quite a bit closer to me. So I'm curious how that's going to impact that. But I wanted to see, what do these speakers sound like just in a normal average living room? Now, my living room's pretty big. I've got tall ceilings, 12-foot ceilings, and it's a pretty wide room, very deep room. And then we've got it's just open to the kitchen and open to the breakfast nook and then open to the dining area. So that is a lot of space to fill, but it's just got a big, big sound to it. So how much do they cost? So Arendal told us up front this new series was going to be their luxury line. This is just a beautifully well-crafted, just really high-quality speaker. and the whole series is. And so in a minute, I'll share with you the other models that they're coming out with as well, and they'll be introducing very, very soon. But the price point of the 1528 Tower 8s is right at about 10,000 US dollars. And so although not super inexpensive, there are also plenty of speakers out there that well exceed that price point. And I really think that these can easily compete with speakers that are sometimes 2 and 3 times the cost of what these will run you. So now I want to switch over and show you the other speakers in this new lineup. So here you can see the entire lineup of the 1528 series. So of course on the outer edge right here, and here we've got the 1528 Tower 8s. Next to those are the Monitor 8s. Inside are the Bookshelf 8s. Down here we have a Center 8, and then down below here we have the Center Plus 8. So that is that big monster center channel that Arendal told us is the biggest one they've ever made. And then over to the right we have the Slim 8s, and we'll go through each one of these and let you see the specs on them. So firstly, we have 2 different finishes on the Tower 8s. You have the Basalt, which is a darker, kind of a charcoal color, and then you have the Polar, which would be your white finish. Now the Tower 8s are a 3-way design. So we've got a 1-inch lithium magnesium tweeter, a 5-inch carbon graphene mid-range, and 4 8-inch aluminum base drivers. Now these can be either sealed or ported. They have the high density fiberboard. Now the sensitivity is just under 90 dB at 89.5 decibels, and so these would definitely benefit by having an external amplifier apart from just the internal amplification from an AVR. You can see they have a max SPL of 118 dB peak with 112 dB RMS. The frequency response is 42 kilohertz all the way up to 20,000 kilohertz. And in-room response, I was told that you probably can expect to get down to about kind of in your mid-20s. And so hopefully I'll be able to test that and measure that in my room to see if I can confirm that in a future video. Now these are 4-ohm speakers, so that's going to demand more from your AVR or your amplifier, so make sure that they're 4-ohm stable. As I shared earlier, these are about 174 pounds each. That's massive, and then they can handle up to 1,000 watts of power. So here's a close-up of the Monitor 8s. Again, we get those in Basalt or Polar finishes. So this is very similar, except you're only going to have 2 woofers as opposed to 4. So these monitors are basically a mini tower with 2 less drivers, 2 less woofers. And you can see the specs here if you want to pause the video. Now these speakers are still beefy. They're about 104 pounds or 47 kilograms. Looking at the Bookshelf speakers, we've got the Bookshelf 8s also in Basalt or Polar. You can see that also is a 3-way design. Same tweeter, 1 mid-range and 1 woofer. And this weighs 30 kilograms, which is about 64 pounds.
30 kilograms is about 66 pounds.
I'm sorry, Alexa told me that it's 66 pounds, so even heavier than I thought. Here we have the Slim series. Now this is a very versatile speaker. So they're saying that you can use these as an LCR, you can use these as side surrounds, rear surrounds, height speakers, a center channel. You can use this in a variety of configurations. Now the main difference with this from the Bookshelf is that this is a very slim profile, but it's also a sealed enclosure versus a ported enclosure. Now this does come with a VESA wall mount, and so that will allow you to easily mount this to your wall. All right, now getting down to the center channels, you've got 2 versions of that. Here we have the Center Plus. This is the big Mac Daddy. This joker weighs a ton. Well, maybe not a full ton, but you'll see how much it weighs here in just a second. All right, I have to say this is the biggest and most beefy center channel I've ever seen. This is 181 pounds or 82 kilograms. So kind of take that tower, the Tower 8, lay it on its side, trim a little bit of size off of it, and there you have the Center Plus speaker. And so same 3-way design, same tweeter, same mid-range, and then you've got the 4 woofers, 2 flanking each side. Now I really like how they have the mid-range and the tweeter in a vertical array. This is typically a better design than if you were to have a tweeter and then just mid-ranges off to the side. Now you'll notice the center channel can also accommodate up to 1,000 pounds of power. And so that is absolutely crazy, but I'm excited to get that one in for review if we can ever get it past customs. Now for those of you that don't have the space for the Center Plus, there's a smaller version, the Center 8, and so this has 2 less woofers. Now again, this center channel is not small by any means. This weighs 104 pounds or 47 kilograms. So again, very, very stout, very heavy, but very well braced internally as well. So here we can see the US price list of each of the speakers. The Tower 8s will run you $9,500 a pair. The Monitor 8s at $5,900 a pair. The Bookshelf 8s at $4,500. The Center 8, $2,900. The Center 8 Plus is $4,700. The Slim 8 are $3,500 a pair. And if you want the I can never say that. And if you want the Puck Pro, those are $400, and that'll include 8 pieces. So as you can see, this series is not inexpensive, but I'm really excited for Arendal. They're really stepping into that really premium high-end category. Now, of course, if the budget doesn't allow for that, the 1723 series is still a fantastic series. But if you've got the budget, definitely give these a consideration. Well, I'll have more videos on the channel in the coming weeks. Hopefully we'll get the other set that's coming from Customs. There's a pair of bookshelf speakers as well as the Center Plus that I'll get in for review, and I can have a full system to demo and make some content for you guys and share my experience on that. Now, I'd love to know your thoughts on the new 1528 series. Let me know down in the comments below. Hope you guys have an incredible week. God bless, and we will catch you in the next video.